Ole Miss has a big recruiting weekend. The NCAA will not leave Trinidad Chambliss alone. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, happy birthday day to everybody involved. Locked On's 10th anniversary is today. Hello, everydayers. I'm Stephen Willis. Welcome to Locked On Ole Miss. We're going to be joined in just a second by David Johnson of Ole Miss 365. We're going to talk about the recruiting weekend. We're going to talk about how the NCAA is trying to weasel back in on this Trinidad Chambliss thing in a backdoor type situation. They will not let that go. And we will just talk a little bit of ball as it is the middle of June. Now, David, listen, big recruiting weekend. Ole Miss was in a good spot. They wanted to shoot their shot with DGG. Tell me, did that happen?
I think it did. I think they feel comfortable with how his official went. Look, all officials go great, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure that he left with Ole Miss on top. The Rebels, of course, are battling the Tennessee Vols and the Ohio State Buckeyes for the best running back in the country, if you ask me. The asking price is going to be tremendous.
Astronomical.
Astronomical. Mm-hmm. If you want a running back that's out of the package ready, that could be a legacy player at your university, you got to pay for it. And in all honesty, DGG is that. I mean, he is that. Ole Miss has somewhat of an inside track because his former high school teammate is running the ball for the Rebels, Shakai Mills-Knight.
And his quarterback is committed to Ole Miss.
Keegan Croucher.
Yeah.
I mean, so there is a little bit of a familiarity, I think, with the Ole Miss program in that, look, the guy handing him the ball off this fall is going to be a future Ole Miss quarterback. The guy that was the number one when he was number two is an Ole Miss running back.
I think he's going to get the ball some this year. The more I think about it, I think Shakai Mills-Knight's going to get on the field this year.
Oh, yeah. I think they have stacked their backfield, and Mills-Knight is going to be part of that plan. I really believe that. But, after the weekend, again, not a lot of noise, huge visit weekend, but I don't think Ole Miss yet has topped Tennessee and Ohio State. And Stephen, I'll be honest with you. I think this is more of a financial decision than it is I want to play ball here decision.
I think enough money's at stake in this recruitment that it's going to be a financial thing.
Yeah, and I don't say that
just because of that. I talked to Brian Smith, the Florida football scout, about DGG and Ohio State specifically. And Ohio State is not a school that front loads NIL. Mm-hmm. They are good enough to where you have to earn it and kind of get bigger and bigger as you go. They are willing to front load this on DGG. And that should tell everybody everything that you need to know. Tennessee, I heard a rumor, $2 million for 3 years up for DGG. Mm-hmm. And my thought is like, that's an astronomical sum of money.
Well, that Tennessee deal is $2 million per year for 3, right?
Yes.
So we're talking $6 million right there.
Yes. And my question is like, that sounds ridiculous, but if you could pay $2 million for Adrian Peterson, Oklahoma era Adrian Peterson, would you do it? And I think,
yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't say this as a knock on the kids because there's no other time in your life you're more wanted than you're a high school football prospect. And you're a torn ACL away from not ever being able to get that money.
Ask Marcus Lattimore.
Ask him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for that matter, you could ask my own son, who had 2 torn ACLs. It slows you down a little bit. And, there have been guys that have recovered, but you got to take this money while you can in this business. It is a business. And, we say this because I don't want any fault put on DGG. He's doing what he should be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he may never have this kind of leverage again in his whole football career. Nope. It would be a shame for him not to take it. That's the reason, honestly, we made fun of Arch Manning when he's the quarterback, we'll go do NIL deals. No. He is one injury away from not playing football again. You need to get it while you can get it.
Ever again.
Yes, and Ole Miss had a couple of commitments that were on campus this weekend. Croucher was in town, for instance, as well. For everything I heard, things went pretty well, but official visits never go poorly. But on 3, and I think Chad Simmons and Zach Berry and all of those guys at the Ole Miss Spirit, they're pretty high on Antonio Berry moving in right now, and they think it's going to be an Ole Miss Kentucky thing. But you heard that maybe Alabama might be trying to circle back.
Yeah, my understanding right now is that he is going on an official to Alabama this weekend. I'll tell you, to be honest, the vibe has always been he was very warm to Alabama. Ole Miss has done an excellent job, I think, of getting into it. I'm not quite to the point where I'm going to predict he's definitely going to be a Rebel. I'm probably 75% of the way there. I think we've got to see what happens this weekend. Let it play out.
Yeah, this appears like something at the Red Elephant Club or whatever their NIL collective is decided to go $500,000 or $500,000 to $1 million higher than Ole Miss. It gets interesting at that point, but I don't think Alabama is going to do this. I think he is Ole Miss's to lose, and with him and Caden Davis and Antonio Kiefer and those guys.
Caden
Moss. Sorry. I was thinking about the kicker a couple years ago in my head. But this offensive line class they're kind of doing something with the offensive line that they did with the defensive line a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and you know what? If you look back on things from a broad view, and I don't know why this is. Well, I do. The NIL, the transfer portal, works well with skill position players. It doesn't work as well with the offensive line. I mean, and you got to figure 5 guys are playing as one unit.
Yeah,
that is the truth.
Yeah.
So often on TV, you see a guy that it looks like whiffs an assignment, but he made his assignment. There's a guy next to it that whiffed, but it didn't look like that live. I think Ole Miss is at the point where they would rather develop offensive linemen as opposed to bringing in a one-year guy from the portal and hoping he gels with everybody up front. That's one thing about playing the offensive line. I don't know. Did you play offensive line in high school or anything?
No, I was a kicker. So, yes, I was hardcore in high school. Yes.
Obviously, I'm a fat guy, so I played offensive line. But
yeah, I feel that. I was 6 foot, 145 pounds in high school. That's the only way I could play football.
I hear you. I was 245 and an undersized center. But anyway, but that's the thing people don't get. Fans don't get, the average fan, is that it is really a unit working together. I mean, you block A gap, you block B gap, you block C gap, blah, blah, blah. But it all works together. I mean, that's the deal. And I think John Garrison, who I think is one of the best O-line coaches in America, has determined it's better to build these guys and develop them than to go out and get a piece here and a piece there and hope they all come together in a very short period of time.
Well, the flip side of that is Therese Davis, who had 3 years of eligibility. So that's basically like signing a high school guy. And he came in, had a year to develop, and he is going to be your starting left tackle. You're going to have one first-year guy on the offensive line this year for anybody that's watching this show and thinking the offensive line could be a problem, because Davis was an all-freshman guy in the Big Ten at Maryland, and now you have Tommy Kinsler on the right side. I think he can be very good, but he's the wild card since this is a year one type situation.
Yeah, and Kinsler is from Miami, came from the Miami program. The other wild card you've got is Bryson Sanders moving to center. And I think he's going to be a heck of a center. I'll be honest with you.
Well, he was a center last year.
Yeah, that's right. My bad.
Yeah. He was very, very good. In fact, a lot of what made Ole Miss's offensive line good is because the center snap was consistent for the first time in a couple of years at Ole Miss.
Yeah, it really was. Probably the first time since 2019. Who was the center in 2019?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Eli there. Okay.
Yeah, but Bryson did a hell of a job, and I expect he'll do that again. The guard spots are pretty much set. It's the edges. And, again, you need to be injury-free up front, always. And knock on wood, hopefully they will be. You brought up Therese Davis, had a tremendous spring. He caught on to everything big time. Physically can do anything you want. I ran into Therese at Kroger a couple of weeks ago. And you know what? I didn't know who he was, but he was huge. And I was like, okay, what's your name? I know you play football. Therese Davis. I was like, oh, okay. So we had a great conversation. As a matter of fact, I interviewed him and did a story on Ole Miss 365 on Therese Davis. Good kid. I think he's going to have a heck of a year.
All right, question for everybody. We're dealing with high school recruiting, with transfer portal, all of that stuff. Tell me one name that you are interested in Ole Miss recruiting this year and somebody you want to see on the list. And don't forget to smash that like button. When we come back, we are going to talk about Trinidad Chambliss a little bit, and we are going to see what else is going on. Thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Today is their birthday. If you see Locked On, say happy birthday. So Brendan Sorsby has been all over the news. And part of what's going on is the NCAA trying to do a push that would allow this Save College Sports Act to allow them to make Brendan Sorsby ineligible. But what they also said was all of the other court injunctions would be overturned as well, including our very own Trinidad Chambliss. We have questions. We have thoughts. We'll see what's going on there. Stick around. That's coming up next. All right, throughout the NHL finals, every shift matters, every moment is intense, and everything comes down to execution. When the pressure is at its highest, and just like athletes must be ready to perform when the puck drops, a lot of guys want that same readiness and confidence in their own lives as well. That is where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette offers modern performance-based treatments designed to help you be ready when it matters most. Their top option, Rougiette Ready, is a fast-acting, clinically formulated treatment that comes in a simple mint that dissolves under your tongue. It's designed for convenience, fast absorption, and effects that can begin in about 15 minutes, and they can last up to 36 hours. They also offer Go Long, which is formulated to support both performance and control longer-lasting needs. It's about helping guys feel prepared, confident, and in control. In the playoffs, readiness is an option. It's everything. And for a lot of guys, that idea of being ready at the right moment carries over into everyday life as well. That is exactly what Rougiette is built around. What stands out to me is me not having to have a plan around timing, something that works quickly and is easy, changes the mindset. It's about confidence and being present in the moment. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnNHL. That's the right promo code. And get 15% off your ED treatment. That's Rugiet.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL for 15% off. Rugiet, performance medicine for men. And also, workplace chaos can show up fast. The problem is that finding the right candidate can take a lot more time than most businesses can afford. That's where Indeed Sponsored Jobs comes in. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach candidates who actually fit what you're looking for based on skills, experience, and location. Finding the right person can make all of the difference, whether it's building a business or building a winning team. One great addition can have a ripple effect on everyone around them. When you find somebody that brings the right skills, attitude, and experience, it makes the entire group better. So that's why finding qualified candidates matter so much, and why tools like Indeed Sponsored Jobs can make that process easier. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. That means less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is the job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit when they go to Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for sponsored jobs. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Subscribe to the podcast on whichever audio podcast you're listening to, and give it a 5-star review. It costs absolutely nothing, but it keeps all of this free. Get your daily Ole Miss fix completely ad-free by joining the Everydayer Club today. Start your 7-day free trial right now and get closer to your team without all of the interruptions. Click the link in the show notes down below, or go to lockedonolemmiss.supercast.com to claim your free trial. All right, David. So this Brendan Source is abhorrent. As we saw today, the Big 12 and AGs from several Big 12 states, this has a chance to get really messy. Well, the NCAA, in their infinite wisdom, are trying to play the Save College Sports Act, the Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell Act that you hear so much about. And they say if you pass this act, it will allow them to unilaterally make Brendan Sorsby not eligible. They also said that would be effective for other previous injunctions that are going there, and that would, of course, would mean Trinidad Chambliss. Now, I don't like that Trinidad gets lumped in with this situation. What happened with Trinidad was not near the same thing, but the NCAA has done a job of kind of shopping that idea. What are you hearing on your end? Is this a story that is going around Oxford yet?
Not really, but let me say this. I was in the courtroom for Trinidad's last hearing in which he won. I was not impressed with anyone on the NCAA's legal team. They were a bunch of stooges. Inside a courtroom, obviously, that was very pro Trinidad and Ole Miss. But I don't put anything past the NCAA, and I'll say this. I'm going to hold this up. I got this in the mail. Pure garbage. Okay? Pure garbage.
This is not horrible.
Yeah, well, that's good. There is not even a picture of Trinidad Chambliss in this entire book. There are two, and you see who did it, ESPN.
Yes.
There are two Ole Miss pictures in the whole book. One on Pete Golding, talking about basically he's a first-year coach over his head. And then the other, Keegan Lacey, who was named first-team All-American. ESPN was brash enough to say Trinidad Chambliss was not even considered. Okay?
Wait. Why did they say that?
Well, they list their first team All-American, and then they put the quarterbacks under it that were considered. He's not listed. So apparently
who wrote this?
no byline, so it's the entire crew. Ole Miss is preseason ranked number 8 by ESPN, but a guy named Bill Nunnally wrote a feature inside the book that says Ole Miss is not going to the playoffs. Instead, it's going to be Georgia, Texas, and Texas A&M representing the SEC.
Just three teams. I mean, this is a bold strategy by him to alienate the breadwinner.
I always pick up the preseason annuals, and I'm so excited, and I devour the whole thing. This one made me puke, metaphorically. I mean, it was
the Phil Steele one is good, by the way. Anybody listening to this, the Phil Steele preview is excellent. The lowest rated unit on Ole Miss's football team, the whole unit nationally, is number 17.
I get it, and that's probably is that the O line?
Yes, the O line.
That's what I would figure. I just don't get it. But my point being, there's always a second tier to any kind of conspiracy. And it's almost like ESPN was going, he's not going to be eligible.
Yeah. It's like this was done before the everything got ironed out.
Yeah, and it likely was. But, a piss poor effort by ESPN. I mean, Ole Miss not going to be in the playoffs. Pete Golding's a first-year coach over his head. And Trinidad Chambliss, who knows what he did last year? Who cares? That was all because of Lane Kiffin, is what is the feeling they give you, and that's BS.
I hate lazy takes. I hate lazy takes.
That's what it was. It was a lazy take.
Yeah, it's one of those things to where they just talk about it. It was, Ole Miss couldn't do this without Lane Kiffin. They won't go far in the playoffs without Lane Kiffin. It's like, well, they did. Well, that doesn't count. They won't go far next year because they don't have Lane Kiffin, because he doesn't know how to run a practice. And it's like, do you realize there are like 5 coaches on that staff that were head coaches that have run a practice before?
Exactly.
Come on.
Pete has put together a heck of a staff. This offense is not going to miss a beat. The defense is going to be better. And, the schedule's tougher. There's no doubt. Look, that first game against Louisville kind of scares me a little bit because Louisville did well in the transfer portal. So you really don't.
They always do. They always do.
Yeah. So, but I would not purchase the ESPN annual if you're an Ole Miss fan. It'll just piss you off.
Yeah, I didn't even know they had one. I knew about Lindy's, I knew about Athlon's, and I knew about Phil Steele, but those are the 3 that I ordered.
This one came in the mail. Here's the other thing I noticed. That's the front cover. They did not sell it. This is the back cover inside. They did not sell it. This is the back cover. They did not sell it. I mean, come on. You could have put a picture of Trinidad right there, or right there, or there, or there. But they didn't. Not in the whole damn book.
Should be pretty interesting of what happens. I'm curious to see how it goes. Everydayers, let me know what you think about the preview magazine. What is your favorite preview magazine this year? And, of course, don't forget to smash that like button as well. David, tell me what's going on at Ole Miss 365 right now.
Man, we've got a great deal going on right now where you can get 1 year for $49.99. And we would love to have you guys. We're bringing Dalen back from the Omaha College World Series. We sent him out there. He did a wonderful job with the coverage. And, man, we're just getting at it. It's football season now, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's over. It's time to snap the ball and get it on.
Yeah, it's absolutely time to get it on. Anyway, David, thank you so much for stopping by, and we will talk to you later, buddy.
Hey, thank you. And let me say this. You've got the best Ole Miss podcast out there, period. And we are honored to run it every morning, afternoon, every time you do it on Ole Miss 365. Thank you.
Listen to anybody that's watching this. Since I've been doing this podcast, Ole Miss has won a baseball national championship, been to the Sugar Bowl twice. They've been to the Peach Bowl one time. They've been to the Sweet 16 in both men and women's basketball. They've been to the Women's College World Series in softball. I'm the good luck guy, right?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, obviously, it's right there. Anyway, thank you very much for the kind words, and we'll talk to you later, David. All right. Let's tell me what's the comments you're seeing, because every day you're usually ahead of the national media on this type of stuff. You're not the smartest audience for no reason. Listen, it's football season. We're going to talk about the Trinidad stuff just in case something goes on. We're going to talk about all of the pre-rankings that we're talking about. Lindy saying Ole Miss has the top backfield. Phil Steele saying Ole Miss has the top offense. We will handle all of that. And if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Ole Miss ad-free plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedonolemmiss.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we're going to send you on over to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure your second listen is Locked On SEC or Locked On College Football. Subscribe, hit the bell, drop a comment, all of that stuff, and we will see you tomorrow, Everydayers. Hotty toddy.